One little tweak I'd like to make is the number sign define that's setting up array size. Let's just make this a static constant. As we discussed elsewhere, this means that people can't redefine it to a different number, and there are some benefits occasionally to having an actual type and not just being a literal string. In many programming shops, an all caps name like this indicates an actual macro defined value as opposed to a static constant. If you work with a naming convention like that, you might also change the name array size at this time. Now, just because it's a static constant, you can still pass it to reserve and you can still use it here to control the loops. However, I don't really like the idea of using it to control the loops. I mean, what if someone just accidentally didn't push enough animals back onto the list of animals? You wouldn't want to print out either a nonsense value or extra blank spaces, those kinds of things. So let's, in these loops, run to animals.size. That's just a little safer. Similarly here I can use numbers.size. Always be suspicious when you see code that's using a define like that in arithmetic. Here, we go through and subtract off the last element by using array size -1. Well, if we'd stayed with that hard-coded array size constant and then pushed more numbers than expected onto the vector, we would have subtracted off this one instead of the last one. So it's important to notice, am I actually performing arithmetic with this define? It's one thing to just use it to control loops and declare variables, but sooner or later it sort of drifts into your code to be used for other purposes. You really need to pay close attention when you see those and think about, what am I trying to achieve? What code would actually achieve that within my application? Don't just mechanically substitute everything that's going on. As always, let's make sure we didn't break it. It runs without error. These appear to be the right things. You notice we now have no line at the end because I commented that line out, and we have an extra number here. And this code is perfectly resilient to that and works just fine having 4 animals and 6 numbers rather than exactly 5 of each, and isn't confused at any point. So we're making progress.